Okay, so let's take a look at how we can draw count plot in Python using Seaborn library, right? So the thing is, first we will check whether we have Python or not with Python, then double dash version, right? As you can see, I have Python installed. Next thing, I can clear this and type in pip install Seaborn. This is the library we will be using to draw the plot. Then we will use Jupyter-Lab server. So we will use Jupyter Notebook to draw the plot, right? And to run the Jupyter, I can either use Jupyter then space notebook or Jupyter-Lab. Right now here can open this notebook and click on Python 3 notebook. It should open something like this. Then we will have import numpy as np and import Seaborn as sns. You can also import random if you happen to use random data, but we don't need that for now, right? So let's say I have data of around 3 values, right? With, let's say, ABC. I can use A 2 times, right? Then I have like 2 value of B, and then finally C, right? Now if I use sns.countplot and if I pass value of x to this data, right? So this data assigned to my x, and if I run this, it should draw the count plot. Notice that the data ABC assigned to x, and whatever the value it may assume, it may be drawn against y-axis. So the count for A is 2 times, B 3 times, C once. So it reflects 2 times A, 3 times B, 1 time C, right? Now if I want to change this vertical to horizontal, I will have to simply change y to data. Run this and it will draw the horizontal orientation, right? Now if I want to increase the amount of groups into this, see I have like 3 groups and I want to draw it against my data, so we can make a few changes, right? So for that I can use 2 times A, then B, then again A, right? So it's like 4 times everything, then 2 times B, then C, and then finally we have like C again, right? So everything is set here. Next thing is we'll be using group equals to, within square bracket we have G1, then G2, then let's say G1 again, right? And then G2, right? And I can take this on next line, repeat it again 4 times, something like say G1, then G2, then G1, and then G2, right? Now if I run this, then we will have data with respect to this group, but we will have to also add this property called hue set to group, right? So let's say x set to my data and hue here is parameter set to property of group, and you will also get legend for this particular data. Notice A, B and C, how many times they get repeated, and with this hue set to group, we are trying to draw the count plot by group value, right? So far we have done basic count plot. We changed its orientation. We also managed to draw the count plot by group value, right? You can also change the orientation by set to theta, and it will change to this horizontal way instead of vertical, right? You can also change one more parameter, which is saturation. So saturation set to 1. Run this and it will reflect as well, right? We can also see if alpha, which is a transparency, gets applied. So 0.4, and we see the transparency as well, right? Then there is color palette. So if I change to color palette, set to say set 1, let's see what color it changes. It will change to this. Notice that if I remove the hue and try and draw this, it will draw something like this because we are removing the plot by group, right? And if I add it again, it will show the plot by group as well with our color palette. If you want singular color, you can also have that. See, if we apply parameter color with light blue, right? And if I run this, it will look something like this, right? Then there is also, let's see, border color parameter and line width. So let's say if I use that as well with line width set to 1 and edge color set to black, now it will look something different, right? So it will look something like this, right? Can change the orientation to vertical, it will look something like this, right? So what we have done so far, we managed to draw basic plot, changed orientation, then drawn the plot by group, then we changed the saturation, we also changed the transparency, we changed the color palette color, we also changed it to singular color along with line width and edge color, right? So these are some of the things that we have managed to change, and the thing is we can also further do the modification. Let's see what is allowed. So if I say xtick labels set to false, what it does to our plot, notice that it won't accept that. Same with, let's say, ytick labels, if we run this, it won't let us run either. So not allowed with those two things here, right? So first thing is make sure to only go with the parameters allowed for that certain plot, right? So if we run this again, we are back to normal. Let's see if I can change few more colors, like let's say dark sea green, and if we get to that, we also get to change the property. Now there is also one more color, say magma, and that color is not accepted considering it is part of different color palette. So ylgn, let's try and use it, that is also not available. So anything that is part of bigger gradient color is not accepted. So we'll go with orange, let's say. Yes, that is accepted. So singular colors and color with two types of strong variations are allowed. However, gradient seems to be not taken by the color parameter, so we can't change the properties to those gradient colors, right? So some of these things we can change with count plot. So you can remove the line width and edge color and it will look a bit different again. Notice, but to differentiate when you are using the light colors, it's better to have your line width and edge color so that the borders would show you the close range between the two extreme values or between the closer two group set of values, right? So these are some of the things that you can try out with count plot. I hope you have found this useful. So to take a look at some of these properties and the respective parameters that you can change as well.